Gaffer?
Positive start to the season so far. It's one we'll be determined to continue this weekend.
Yeah, it's one of them games where you look, it's top v bottom. I know it's very early on, but we can't go into that frame of mind. We need to make sure we continue to do what we've been doing really well, which is the basics. And they've stood us in good stead in the games. And then when we've been playing well in the games, we've took our chances when they come along. So we just need to go into the frame of mind that it's so early on. You know, I've watched Hartlepool against Bradford. I watched them against Northampton, and they play some good football. So they've probably got a new manager and a lot of new players, and they've probably not found their rhythm yet. So we know that any time that can change. So when we're at home, it's down to us. Want to take the game to them and want to score goals. So as long as we go into it with the right mentality and we don't take things for granted, then we'll be okay.
As you mentioned, Hartlepool not the best start. So in terms of communicating to your players, what's the kind of the message that you send in terms of their approach?
It doesn't matter. If we do the basics well, then we're a good team. At any level of football, you can concede a set play in the first minute. You can concede from any kind of set play. You can concede from a counter attack. So every team in this league come with their own threats. So we need to make sure that complacency is not one of them. But again, it's something that I trust the group with. I think we've got good leaders in the group, good professionals who have played a lot of games. So I don't think it'll be a danger for us.
In terms of Hartlepool then, you mentioned all teams having threats. Where do you see them being able to hurt us?
Well, I think, again, it's difficult because they're a new team and the manager's trying to find out what works for them and what doesn't. So it can be difficult. I've been in that position when you take over a club and there's a lot of change in the club. You look at Hasty on the right, likes cutting his left foot, looks a good player. But I want to try and make it about us. If we're on the front foot, if we're aggressive, when we're moving the ball really well at times, then it's got to be that little change of speed. And when we go slow to quick, we need to make sure that when we do turn them quick spells, we look after the ball and we get the ball in the right areas. I.e. Paul Smith's cross to when Colchester scored the own goal. That's a really good example of it, where we switch the play 4 or 5 times, it's not on, and then we find a pocket to get smudge on the ball, and obviously his sharpness gets up the pitch and we score a goal. So that's what we need to be careful. We need to be patient, but we're not. He's patient and still playing at a tempo.
In terms of that Colchester game, you spoke to Lawrence Vigor in the week, and he said in the dressing room after, it almost felt like it wasn't a win because of that late goal conceded. For you, is that a good sign of a positive mentality?
That's the mentality we want. We don't want to concede goals. We want to win football matches. I've been in dressing. I see teams in this league or in whatever league, and as soon as they win a game, the dancing and the shouting. It's not like that with us. We speak to the players after the game. That's another one ticked off. Let's move on to the next one. Let's stay humble. Let's stay focused. And then they can put the music on. But it's not like a party scene just because we've played 4 or 5 games. There's a long way to go. We recognise that. And we just want to get a mentality across the club. The reserves played on Wednesday against Charlton. Really good performance, really good attitude. So I think every single player at the club now is buying into what we want. And the attitude and the culture what we're setting here is a winning mentality one.
George Moncur seems to be really unlucky not to have found the back of the net since obviously he got the penalty on the opening day, but in those last 4 games just seems to not have that bit of luck going for him. So as a coach, what's your message to him?
Keep on hitting the target. The keeper's pulled off some good saves. I think he's hit the post twice. He could easily be sat on 6 or 7 goals. But we're starting to see signs now where Paul Smythe, Theo's been excellent the last few games. George himself, Charlie Kelman's been excellent, and he sets the tempo off with his work rate at the top end of the pitch. We've obviously got Ruel coming back from illness now, so we're looking really good at the top end of the pitch. And on the back of that, Harry's still recovering from his injury, and we've got Driz, waiting in the wings as well. So we're starting to look a little bit more fluid at the top end of the pitch, and that can only be good signs ahead.
You mentioned Harry Smith there. We know he scored in that game midweek against Charlton, but he also pulled out of the squad last Saturday. What was the issue there?
Just a feelings hamstring, so it was difficult when you lose him so late on. But then we scanned him on the Monday, it was clear, and then obviously on the Wednesday he plays. He trained on the Tuesday as well, so yeah, there's no problem there.
And then in terms of other players come back from fitness, come back from injury, should I say, we saw Craig Clay and Aaron Drynan both training today. Are they in contention for the weekend?
Craig will be in a squad. Aaron will probably be another week, but it's good to have him back. He's going to be a little bit of a slow burn. He's been out now for 9-10 weeks, so we need to make sure that we just manage that we're not just going to throw him in at deep end and expect him to be 100%. The way that he works, the way that he runs, there's a risk of reoccurring. So we need to be careful with Aaron, but Charlie Kelman's doing a good job, and I want to get Harry Smith up and running. So, like I say, everyone's in a good place, and obviously Craig comes back into the squad this weekend.
It's been some great support so far, home and away, and the atmosphere at home in particular has been a good one, and we're hoping we make it 3 out of 3 in front of our home fans.
Yeah, no, I listen. Every time I get a good feel, every time I come to Brisbane Road, it's a good atmosphere. The feeling is good. I know, and if we can keep winning, then hopefully it keeps on getting better.